All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. Guys, let's check it out.
Alrighty, welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. President Trump says he's making a new push for affordable housing. He wants to block large investors from buying
Define large.
single-family homes. This comes just weeks after he promised to roll out aggressive housing reform plans. Housing affordability is expected to be a major talking point ahead of this year's midterm elections. But some Senate Democrats say the White House needs to take greater action. Joining us to talk about it tonight, real estate expert and educator Shad Bogny and real estate broker and builder Melissa Wilson. Melissa, your thoughts about this program? Is it what we think it is on its face, about helping first-time home buyers, families trying to get into that first house?
I think ultimately it will, because when we're talking about, let's separate fact from fiction, institutional investors like BlackRock, this is a very large conglomerate, okay?
Right.
These are hedge funds that were coming in just 2 years ago, buying up so many of the houses on the market. So mind you, they're paying cash. Cash is king in our industry. So basically, when you have an investor that's coming in with cash,
compared to someone
financing, they're more likely to get that deal versus someone who's coming in with financing. Also, back then, 2-3 years ago, they were overbidding on houses. Guess who was able to get that bid?
Of course.
The institutional investor.
Right.
So these companies coming from California, you know, hedge fund.
Guys, it's not even just companies that were coming from California. Like if you were just in general, like living in a place like New York or California and you owned a property and you decided to sell your property, you most likely sold for close to $1 million or over $1 million for something that would legitimately be probably $200,000 in another place. Let's just be honest here, all right? That's the overblown inflationary type of environment California and New York generally are, in certain places at least, right? But the overall dilemma here is that so when you sold that property and then you decided to move to a place that has a much lower property value, you just came in and you were able to kind of overbid on basically everything. So it's not just specifically like institutional investors that came in and did all these things here. It's also people from outside of, outside of the state specifically, that were not experiencing these crazy inflationary events like California, Arizona in some places, Colorado, mainly Vail, and Long Island, New York.
Money managers, big money managers have real estate in their portfolio. And so it was making it very difficult for the average buyer, which takes away from the middle class ultimately. So I think that this move would be great because now buyers have access to real estate property that they can purchase.
All right.
And they're not having to compete with large conglomerates.
Shad, do you see this as face value for the Trump administration, or is there another motive we don't see?
I see it as him trying to bring some plan to the table. I don't agree with the plan.
What would be wrong with this in your opinion?
In my opinion, we are a capitalistic society.
Right.
And that what he should do if he wants to stop large investors from investing, maybe he should stop the tax incentives for them to be able to purchase homes, not block them out from buying homes. If he really wants an affordable housing program, he should be doing an FHA 235. He should be going in, working on a mortgage credit certificate program, real programs that actually help people buy houses, lower the interest rates. Those are some of the things that's going to help first-time homebuyers. Institutional investors have hurt the entry-level buyers for sure.
You lost me, sir.
We're in a society that you're telling me what I can do with my investments, but what you can do is limit what my tax incentive would be in that particular purchase of that investment property.
Yeah, guys, if you lower the interest rate, that'll be the worst thing you could possibly do for first-time home buyers. Like, just be fully aware. Lowering it means for people that are in like business, or for people that are in business that own corporations or whatever, right? They have the ability to kind of access more money than the average person can via all types of like loans and things like this, whatever, right? So if you decide to lower the interest rate, that basically means free money to people, okay? All right, free tax-free money because you can't tax a loan, okay? So if you lower the interest rate, it sounds good. I think it always sounds good when people say it, but it will immediately mean that all the people that are sitting behind Trump, for example, right, are going to go straight to the bank and say, hey, listen, that $10,000 or like, let's get a more realistic number for a house, $460,000 is now, like if we minus the amortization of the actual loan with the interest rate, we're probably talking about maybe 700,000 or so. But now that 460 is only going to cost me 520 to pay back. Let's say if you lower it to the point where it's literally like free money, like Japan did, that's not a smart thing at all, because the people that actually have access to capital faster are going to win faster. So I hear what you're saying, but it just does not make much sense here. It will hurt the middle class and low middle class more than this guy, I think, actually thinks here.
And laying all of that out by Shad, Melissa, would you agree, disagree, what?
I'm going to say partially, because, well, for one, the mortgage credit certificate program, that is more of a state level type down payment. Mm-hmm. It helps basically buyers in need obtain affordable housing. It does. There at this time is not a federal program for that. He has implemented the opportunity or the idea that Fannie and Freddie should buy $200 billion of mortgage-backed securities.
Okay, Freddie Mae, Fannie Mae.
Ultimately lower the long-term interest rate over time. So that will give more buyers access to affordability of the housing. Yes, do I feel
that
like
makes
there
more
may
sense.
need to be a government opportunity for down payment assistance and any of those programs that we have here at the state level? Yes,
no.
There's opportunity for that, but you can't. You're putting the cart before the horse. You have to stop these institutional investors like BlackRock and these large hedge funds from buying these real estate properties from these buyers, because if they're continuing to do it, they don't have a property to buy.
All right, 30 seconds, Shad, to close this out.
We already have history of the federal government doing mortgage credit certificates. When President Obama was in office, he offered an $8,000 mortgage credit certificate. The state does have that opportunity to do it. Our state of Texas does do it also. But FHA 235 and the mortgage credit certificate program, in my opinion, is the best way to go, because it lowers the effective interest rate, which lowers the monthly payment.
All right.
That $8,000 was a tax credit, not a mortgage credit certificate.
Right. Let's correct him, please.
You have to file it on your taxes in order to get it.
And the mortgage credit certificate, you do have to file it on your tax credit. It's like it is a tax credit, but it lowers the effective interest rate.
All right.
Okay. No, not really. Not how he's saying it, right? I mean, yeah. It's like these like the buybacks that some of the builders specifically do. If you buy a house from like Lennar or something like that, they say, hey, listen, we're going to sell you the house at $500,000, but we're going to give you a basic credit, which effectively lowers the interest rate. And that credit will be like $90,000. Don't worry, we're going to go ahead and pay that, but they're never going to pay it. They just overprice the house, right? So they can kind of keep the neighborhood like super valuable and things like this. Listen, I'm highly against the idea of the government helping with the down payment. That may sound absolutely like mean and terrible, but I need to explain it before everyone kind of comes at me hard here. Owning a house is expensive, okay? Insurance covers only so much, all right? If you need help to basically pay your down payment, and then the second month your HVAC system basically goes out, now you're out $10,000, but you needed help to pay your down payment, then that basically means that your house is going to start falling into basically disrepair. Why? Because all the big things that need to get fixed in your house will never really get fixed in your house. You'll end up moving. The house ends up getting foreclosed on because you're not going to pay for something you're not living in, because you could barely afford, for the most part, to get into the house in the first place. You get what I'm saying here, guys? You could not afford to get into it for the first place. So why are you giving people access to something knowing that they're going to fail and get foreclosed on? So who's really to the benefit here? The bank? Because they're going to go ahead and take that house back, right? They're going to go ahead and take that house back and then put it back on the market, sell it at auction, make basically all their money back, and all the money that you've invested by paying your mortgage on a monthly basis is gone to what? That's all gone now. It's gone. You should have just rented, right? So not everyone is specifically ready to be an owner of a house or a property. And I think more people need to understand that specifically. If you need help with your down payment, period. If you need help with it, you shouldn't own a house. All right. I think that's the prerequisites, because that at least says that you have the financial awareness to basically put money aside for an indefinite amount of time without having to touch it, right? So that means if something major happens on your property, you can fix it immediately without allowing your house to fall into absolute chaos and things.
Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys, but if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings, and we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry. Right? Listen, like and subscribe.